Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 12 Rare Runs. I'm Corbin Hostler. I'm excited to bring this series back again. I hope I get to do a lot of these. I won't lie. They're pretty fun. I love Arena, and, well, there was a big announcement. I'm sure we'll get into that as we go here. But first things first, hey, I have put $5 into this game. I want to be upfront. I put $5 into Arena, and I know a lot of you out there have maybe put that in or put nothing in. Maybe some of you put a lot of money in. That's great. But you know what? I'm building my collection from the ground up along with you watching. Thank you for watching, everybody. And you know what that means? It means we get to open the vault together. I saved it. Look, it's just up here pulsating, right? Just teasing me. But I've been holding off until I could record to open it up. So for those who don't know, the vault only appears once you actually unlock it. And then it disappears once you've unlocked it. And opening up cards just opens up the vault. And I think your extra copies go into the vault, increase your progress, stuff like that. So there you see it. We got 3 uncommon wild cards, 2 rare wild cards, and a mythic rare wild card out of opening the vault, which I've done just by playing limited. So I've been building up a collection, basically surviving off of the gold and that initial 5,000 gems I got from putting $5 in. And I've just built a collection up that way, and that's why we're able to do sweet budget decks like today. So what's up today? Mono Blue Tempo's up today. I know this is kind of the expected. Everyone goes to this one in Arena. And I think that's fine because this is a really easy deck to build to. And you'll notice it shares a lot of cards with the Mono Blue Mill deck from Strictly Better MTG that we did last week. So what is our deck here? If you haven't seen it yet, you're in for a treat. So Curious Obsession, basically what the deck revolves around. You put it on a creature, gets +1, you draw a card and deals combat damage. You sacrifice it if you didn't attack with the creature this turn. But you always attack with the creature. Dive down. That protects your creatures too. We can make sure when we put a Curious Obsession on something, we'll be able to protect it with a dive down. So onto the creatures then. A couple Mist-Cloaked Heralds, 4 of them, so 1/1 unblockable. It's a Merfolk, so you know it's good. Siren Storm Tamer. I wish this card was a Merfolk. This card's insane. Protects the rest of the deck just like the dive down does. We've got Merfolk Trickster, flash creature that can tap opponent's creatures. The Warkite Marauder that can make a creature lose all abilities, just like Trickster can. A lot of interaction in the creatures of this mono blue deck. Exclusion Mage for the bounce. Here's the big one, Tempest Djinn. 3 blue mana, but it gets +1/0 for each island you control. Well, guess what? We have 20 islands in this deck. This thing can get pretty big. And really, that's the deck, right? Everything else just supports that. We've got Opt. We've got Spell Pierces, Blink of an Eye, Chart of Course to draw, Essence Scatter. This is I took the last list that did well in a daily. The Wizard's Retort. Now, this is absolutely key to the deck. It's a 2-mana counter spell most of the time. Almost always. There's plenty of wizards in the deck. Merfolk Trickster, that's a wizard. Exclusion Mage, that's a wizard. Tempest Djinn. Well, it turns out that's a djinn, not a wizard. But Mist-Cloaked Herald is a word. But Siren Storm Tamer is a wizard as well. So even when you pay 3 mana for Wizard's Retort, it's fine. But a lot of times it only costs 2 mana. And hey, Asleep. Good enough for M19 Draft. It's good enough for me. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching 12 Rare Runs. I'm Corbin Hostler. That's the thing. Every time I do this series, we're going to be playing a deck through a standard queue here on MTG Arena without using more than 12 rares. And honestly, this deck only has, I think, 6 rares. What are we looking at here? All of these are commons and uncommons. We're talking 2 rares with the Warkite Marauders, 4 rares with the Tempest Djinns, and that's it, everybody. You're looking for a deck to build on MTG Arena that is competitive and easy to build, since the currency on Arena is, in fact, the wild cards and not money. Well, this is the deck to look at. Now let's run it through a constructed queue, and let's see how we do. All right, everybody, here we go into the constructed queues. Constructed event here, as you can see, 95 gems or 500 gold to enter. And we're going to get in there with Mono Blue Tempo. Gonna have fun with this one right here. So we're going to play till we get 7 wins or we get 3 losses, whichever comes first. And trust me, I have no idea how we're going to do. I was pleasantly surprised to see that we went 3-3 with the Mono Blue Mill deck last week. Just because I didn't know how competitive these queues were. And when you only have, up to 12 rares in your deck, if you run into, people playing Boros Angels or whatever, it could look pretty bad. That said, I'm into this hand. We've got a Merfolk, so it's a good one. We will attack with this thing as early as and often as possible and have a Tempest Djinn after that. All right, so first chance, let's see what our opponent is up to here. Yeah, so we'll probably just play an Opt next turn. I mean, we'll hold up Blink of an Eye, but in all likelihood, I'm just going to Opt looking for a land. My opponent opting as well on turn 1. No clue what that means. For all I know, they're playing my deck. It could be a mirror, and we don't even know it. Could also be on any sort of control deck. And there's a Wizard's Retort. So, this, again, not a wizard, so we can't attack with... we don't have a Curious Obsession or anything. So this hand is, trust me, not near the more powerful starts here, but I think it's going to be just fine. We're just going to hopefully opt into a land here, and we'll be able to play our Tempest Djinn. And if not, well, I mean, things that would be bad, but we'll see what happens here. All right, so our opponent is not on mono blue. They are, in fact, playing a Radical Idea. Oh, I see a Radical Idea. And I will just take my land. That's fine. All right, well, here we go. Our opponent has tapped out in their main phase. We have all the lanes we're going to need now, so we'll play our Tempest Djinn. It's a 3/4. 3/4 flyer. Dies a Lava Coil, but not too much else. And we'll get on in there. So if we get on tap now, and we have Blink of an Eye with Kicker Up or double Counterspell, I think we're probably just going to ride that to victory. So this is the big turn for our opponent. Even though it doesn't look like much, we're putting them to the test here just on turn 3 even. So we're going to... they're either going to kill this Tempest Djinn and we're going to have a game, or I'm just going to have Counterspells forever. And, yeah, Blink of an Eye is, I don't think exactly where they wanted to be there. I'm just going to go ahead and replay it. If they want to Time Walk themselves, I guess I'm into that. I had the land drop there, so it's fine. They did nothing else with that turn. They just burned a card for bounce. We get to untap, and we get to have a lot of options available to us here. Our opponent's still with just 3 mana, thanks to that Highland Lake. I feel your pain. I have a feeling I'm going to be playing a lot of these lands on this series. When you can't, when you don't want to burn your rares on your mana base, well, you end up with Highland Lakes. That's fair. That's how it works in this game until you build up a collection. The good news is, once you do have a collection, and let's say once you have all your shock lands, well, guess what? Not only are those going to be good for Standard for 2 years, those are going to be good in whatever Eternal format eventually comes to MTG Arena, which we all assume is going to happen at some point. That means if they're reprinted in Standard, 5 years from now, we go back to Ravnica 4th time or whatever, you're going to have yours already. And I think that's something pretty cool here. All right, so this game seems... I'm going to be honest, kind of locked up at this point. We still don't have, I guess, a wizard, and we're not going to have a wizard, so just going to attack here for 5. And the question is whether or not I want to just pass with everything up. My opponent wants to shock our Mist-Cloaked Herald, huh? Yeah, I'm just going to dive down, it won't lie. It does so little, though. Maybe I just let it resolve. It's just a 1/1. It's a Merfolk, so I want to save it, but it is just a 1/1. I think this is probably better because now I pass the turn back. Well, the problem is I really want to play this creature. Maybe I don't, though. Maybe I just pass the turn back. I can protect the Tempest Djinn. The Tempest Djinn is going to go the distance, in all likelihood anyways. This way I can counter a spell if I need to. I can also still dive down the Tempest Djinn. And if I hit a land on my... Or if they play just a creature, I can just bounce it with Blink of an Eye, draw another land, hopefully, like that. Is definitely a creature I can just try to bounce. I guess worst case scenario, we trade with it if they have a counterspell for my bounce or whatever here. But I think this might work out just fine. We'll bounce it, then hopefully be able to counterspell it and play a Warkite Marauder. Let's see what they want to do here. They have 2 Radical Ideas in their graveyard, so... Yeah, they're just going to do that. So this is very bad for them now. Yeah, they've got cards, but they're going to lose. Going to lose the Enigma Drake, at least for the moment. We're going to get a draw card, and if we... Well, that's pretty good, too. What I really wanted to do there was find a land, so I could play Warkite Marauder and keep up Wizard's Retort. As that does not seem to be an option... I kind of like option 2, which is just playing another Tempest Djinn and keeping Dive Down up. Keep in mind, Dive Down, it's kind of just a combat trick. Yes, it's a protect, it's a counter spell in the sense that you protect your creature from removal. But when our opponent places Big Drake and we just give our creature +3 toughness, well, that's pretty good too. Oh my gosh, and we get to do it to both of them? And we hit the land. This is kind of disastrous for my opponent, to be honest here. I am happily going to dive down both of these creatures and then keep up Wizard's Retort. This is sick. What a game. You have got to love the value dive downs when all you really need is a combat trick. Am I right? Now we have one Wizard's Retort up, at least, and we have our opponent dead in the air. So this is going to be pretty difficult for them to climb out of here, especially... They've got a Radical Idea in their graveyard. They've got 4 cards in hand, and they're just not going to get there, and we took it down. All right, there you go. Match 1. Mono Blue Tempo, getting it done. Tempest Djinn, pretty sweet card. Yeah, I'll take my gold. Why not? Hey, we did it. We're on the board. We're not getting shut out, at least. So, you know, hey, that's always great. Pretty happy about that. So, all right, we'll see what we're up against next. Arena is so good. I want to see here. I'm actually recording this. I don't know when this video is going to go out. I am recording it as the announcement is happening in the background. We can assume the announcement's about Arena. Hopefully there's, you know, some Arena League, Arena Pro Tours, or however it's going to look. I am incredibly excited about the future of Magic. And honestly, I might even be underselling it when I say it like that. Look, I'm recording Arena for you because Arena is just that good. I really think that Magic is in a place in the esports world that no other game occupies. You know, we can look at something like Hearthstone and say, wouldn't it be great if Magic were Hearthstone? Hearthstone has all these big audiences and it's made for a digital platform, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Now that we have MTG Arena, Hearthstone might wish it was Magic because it has a paper game. Think about it. They appeal to different groups, yes, but they also have a lot of cross appeal, and people who are introduced to the game playing Arena because they used to play Hearthstone or what have you, they pick up a paper card, and you know they buy packs so they can get their codes online. Now they have paper cards, and that's a big market. You know, I have 50 people in my store every week playing F&M, and it's because that's what they want to do. It's not because it's, you know, the best value or whatever, and they're not sitting at home. That people want to do something social, and that's something that Magic can do that no other game can really match. And I just think that's really neat. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Charter Course here. We can get... This also keeps up dive... Wow, I kind of needed to hit a land. I mean, I didn't need to hit a land there, but I definitely need to land on my next turn. So anyways, I mean, that's my take on the whole thing, right? It's that Arena is so good for Magic. And Magic jumping into the actual esports scene with it is huge. And it's huge not just for Arena, but it's huge for the game as a whole. And that's why the announcement we got from Wizards of the Coast about, you know, an Arena League, we're putting a lot $10 million. It's a lot of money. It's a huge prize pool. That prize pool is going to turn some heads, and they're putting all that into not just Arena, but the Pro Tour in general. So it's going to be split between the two. I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. And, you know, for me personally, I don't know what it means for coverage. I hope that I will continue to be at all of these things. I've really enjoyed over the past year, I'd say that maybe a year and a half, right? That just the idea this stream has really taken off. These videos on YouTube, and it surpassed, you know, my extremely modest expectations when I started doing this a couple years ago. And, you know, the next step is Arena, and the next step is streaming, and that's what I want to get into. And that's going to happen. You know, first of all, we got to see. I'd sure like to hit a land. We've got to see what happens next year. Like right now, I'm at 20 GPs a year or whatever, right? I'm at a lot of events doing coverage for Wizards of the Coast, and I love it. It's my dream job, right? All of that said, it does make it hard to stream and make more YouTube content and stuff like that I'd love to do. So if there's fewer Arena events next year, and I get to be at some or all of them, it also means I'll have more time to make content. And I'm very, very, very excited about that. So I'm going to go for the opt here. I want to find a land. I think we need a land. Yeah, there's our land. Step 1 complete. So that allows us to hit it. So this is the thing for our opponent here, is it looks like we're kind of sputtering and we've got 1/1s at 2/2s. That's not very good, and they're just got perfect mana in their Jeskai deck. They have as many rares on the table as nearly we have in our entire deck. All right, so they're going to... See, that doesn't feel very good. Bouncing a Merfolk Trickster just doesn't feel very good, I think. So, you know what I'm saying is they look like they're in a great position here, but between our counter spells, our own bounce spells, and our flash creatures and our protection, well, they may not be so far ahead. And look, we get a counter a Crackling Drake here. Now, obviously, I got to get some lands at some point, right? All right, I'm playing another one out there. Why not? We're gonna have to, if we're gonna have to win this game with 1/1s, that's what I'm gonna do. Because if they play another big spell, I'm obviously going to have to burn another counterspell on it. I've been stubbornly trying to not play this Tempest Djinn into counter magic the entire game. And maybe that was an opportunity to do it there. Maybe I should have just done it, kept up the dive down. But I kind of like the idea of just making a land drop, counterspelling what they do if it's relevant. If it's not, having the mana open to protect my guy. I can still get onto the board with a Merfolk Trickster here. So we can still advance our board state while playing at instant speed, and playing the Tempest Djinn not at instant speed and restricting ourselves to just dive down gives our opponent a chance to play Giant Crackling Drake and just kill us in 3 turns or whatever. So I'm playing defensive here, and we'll see if we get paid off. I'm going to try to hit another Crackling Drake with a Wizard's Retort. My opponent might be able to counterspell back here, which would, if nothing else, at least tap them out. You know, this thing gets huge power, but never more than 4 toughness, I believe. So... you know, if they were to counterspell back and be completely tapped out, which is what they're going to do, and Syncopate's a pretty nice one, too. I mean, I guess the Crackling Drake's only a 2/4, and we have unblockable creatures, so that's not so bad for us. But, yeah, now it's definitely time to play the Tempest Djinn. We have less instant speed interaction up, but we want to attack, get in our damage here, pass the turn up with Dive Down, because we've presented a threat in the Tempest Djinn my opponent has to care about. And if they don't, and they decide, oh, I'm just going to play some other spells and trade with the Tempest Djinn, well, Merfolk Trickster is going to punish that by taking down this Crackling Drake. Triple Merfolk Tricksters, huh? There are 5 Merfolk in my hand and in play. I actually just realized that. Awesome. Very excited. Very excited for Simic in the next, in Ravnica Allegiance, I believe it's called, the next set. Pretty hype. Pretty hype for Simic. There were 4 Merfolk the last time we went there in Gate Crash. So I'm hopeful that we'll get some good ones this time around too. Sorry, Merfolk's my favorite deck, my favorite creature type. I like the way they play. I like the Island Walk. I actually picked up a sweet Judge promo, Lord of Atlantis, today. That's the real difficult choice in Modern, is how you're going to foil out your deck. I've got the full art Mutavault, so I'm doing that part right, okay? I know I'm doing that part right. But I have JSS promo, Lord of Atlantis, but I also have now the option of the Judge promo, so it's gonna be a difficult one, because the JSS promos, which is a defunct tournament series they ran 15-20 years ago or something, they're pretty sweet. All right, so my opponent had the Lava Coil there. It, however, failed very miserably for them, and now they're in trouble because this is just so bad for them, I think. I think I'm just going to attack with everything. I want to keep up as much as possible here. That's why I'm not going for the Curious Obsession. I don't know that we're going to need the Curious Obsession to win this game. If my opponent goes for the block, I can Merfolk Trickster the Crackling Drake to not have any abilities, which would make it a 0/4 that would die to our Tempest Djinn. And even if my opponent has a counterspell for that, I have a second Merfolk Trickster. And if instead they're just going to draw cards, well, that's not really doing them much good either. And in fact, it's going to be the full blowout here, I think. I would assume they're going to go for the block. They certainly should. Yeah, we'll get to add to the board, and then on top of that, we'll get to have another Trickster in reserve for their end step. So, yeah, this looks pretty good for us here. This deck is really interesting. This deck is a mix between, you know, it's almost a Voltron-y protect the queen sort of strategy where you just load up a creature with Curious Obsessions and go to town. But sometimes you also just play it like this. It's just this tempo deck where you're just maximizing everything. And our opponent's in a lot of trouble now. I mean, they need a board wipe. They desperately need a Deafening Clarion here. Or a Cleansing Nova. That's pretty good too. It's actually a hard call here. I think I'm going to let it resolve. And then play Merfolk Trickster and put a Curious Obsession on it while my opponent doesn't have very much mana open. If we get punished by them having a shock, I guess that's what happens, but we do have Blink of an Eye. So yeah, this will work out okay. We get in for 3. We get a draw card. Love to draw a card. Thanks. All right, so we get to pass the turn here with Blink of an Eye and Merfolk Trickster open. Both of them if we needed to. We don't have 7 damage yet. We have 5 with this Trickster. So my opponent is certainly going to have an opportunity to turn the corner, and that's a pretty good way to do it, to be honest. So, all right, well, our Curious Obsession cycled, and the Clarion's going to 1-for-1 with the Trickster. I don't know though. This is the kind of thing they need to turn it around. And you can I think they actually have a counter spell here too, but I think I have to play this. We have to try to keep poking in damage. You know, Jeskai Control is definitely a deck that can beat us very easily, and you're seeing how. You know, all it takes is us with a slow start in the lands, and I tried to play it slower to not get blown out by that Cleansing Nova. You know, I've played a lot of mono blue decks against control decks in my lifetime, and the trick is actually slow rolling your threats. I think the way we did, to be honest, I think we played it pretty well, and I think that's an important way to, you know, it's an important skill. It's an important, you know, way to actually win the game. If you just throw everything out there, yeah, sometimes you'll punish them for not having a sweeper and you'll just kill them, but more often than not, you're just going to, whether it's Clarion or Cleansing Nova or whatever, you're just going to get blown out by these Wrath spells. So you have to be able to put pressure on them. Whew, that's a good one. But not that good, actually. In fact, if we draw Curious Opponent, we're going to kill our Curious Obsession. We're going to kill our opponent here. They are going to get a draw card off our Blink of an Eye, but hey, you know what? So are we. Right, this Niv-Mizzet shouldn't be able to kill. Yeah, they're going to send it to us. That's fine. So we get to get rid of the Niv-Mizzet. I get to draw a Wizard's Retort. That's pretty nice also. All right, play our Merfolk Trickster here. Now we get to untap. We get to attack with both Tricksters, put our opponent down to 1. If we draw a Curious Obsession, we're going to win. Yeah, Tempest Djinn's very good. The question is whether or not I want to play it. I think that I do. I think that since I still have the Wizard's Retort up, I just have to go for it. Funny, my opponent drew a card and then actually discarded the Niv-Mizzet. It's possible I shouldn't have gone for the Tempest Djinn. My thought is that this beats Deafening Clarion, and it beats Cleansing Nova because we have the counter spell for the Cleansing Nova, just like that. That is exactly how I drew it up. And this way we get to attack and kill them. Beautiful. Wow, what a game. That was how you beat control right there. Mono Blue Tempo getting it done. We're 2-0. That was sweet. Okay. On to game 3, I suppose. Hey, look at that. I got a card. I got a Lightning Strike. That's a quality uncommon right there. Especially since it's for Mixalon. I realized when I was building this deck, and this is something to keep in mind if you're looking at this, I've been drafting a lot of Core Set 19 because I had all the Guilds of Ravnica cards outside of rares or whatever, right? But I didn't have any of the commons and uncommons I need from M19. Now I'm running into the same problem with Ixalan. I need some flashback drafts here, Magic Arena. Come on. All right, I think I have to keep this. We're on the draw. It's certainly not insane. I would say it's pretty medium, but hey, we do have a flash 2-drop, and we can get to untap with it. Hopefully, play the Curious Obsession on it and have the dive down to protect it and start recouping some cards. I'm definitely just going to play this on turn 2. My opponent on some sort of a Sultai Brew, I suppose. Maybe I won't play my Warkite Marauder on turn 2. We are getting Thought Erasured. They took the Curious Obsession, actually. And you know what? To be honest, that does make a lot more sense. Tempest Djinn is a nice draw, though. Oops, the wrong one. I want this Warkite Marauder. I'm really happy with Standard right now. It's just such a sweet format. And having a deck like Mono Blue Tempo, which is just completely different than anything else in the format, I think is really neat. All right, well, I've played one way in all these games so far, and I'm going to continue. And I know it. Maybe I'm just supposed to slam the Tempest Djinn right there. Maybe that's the right play. I don't know, but this is how I've chosen to play these games. Is much slower. So I'm actually going to go ahead and play out the Merfolk Trickster here because I still have the dive down up. I just want to put on pressure because we don't need this to tap down their creatures. We have sleep. We'll cast sleep later. We'll just win the game with sleep. Right now, well, we're going to draw one anyways. But I'm going to say right now I just want to attack. Do the damage. Play the Tempest Djinn with dive down open. So if my opponent has a counter spell for it, which is, I guess it could have been Syncopate, but they don't have it. It resolves. Now even if they have Assassin Trophy, we get to protect it with dive down. And they do. Yeah, so you can get a lot of value out of your cards. And it's similar, you know, like I said, I keep going back to my experience with Merfolk because the cards in that are a little different, right? It's Spell Pierce or Dismember or whatever. I mean, sometimes it's Merfolk Trickster. It's not necessarily dive down. But a lot of the ways you play the game, you know, they're very similar. So that's the approach I'm taking there. I didn't just slam the Tempest Djinn on turn 3. I waited till I could protect it. So then I got to trade my dive down for their Assassin's Trophy. And while it doesn't necessarily net us a ton of mana, it then forced them to use their expensive 4 mana removal spell on us. And, you know, that was pretty rough for them. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'm just going to play the other Merfolk Trickster. I mean, heck, if my opponent's not going to play creatures, I'm just going to swing for as much damage as possible. And this Warkite Marauder being in play, well, that's going to make things pretty difficult for them as well. All right, so we're going to move to combat, and they're going to Moment of Craving the Warkite Marauder, huh? Well, I don't really want them gaining life. And I won't lie, I kind of like the idea of keeping this around. My opponent only has 2 cards in hand, so I think just denying him that life gain, not only does it do, you know, not only do we get our 6 damage in, deny them the life gain, we also get to, you know, still play our Charter Course, so we're still being efficient. Now it basically doesn't matter what they do, sleep is going to kill them. Even if they were to play, you know, Carnage Tyrant or something right here that has hexproof, I can't Warkite Marauder it, or Vraska. I mean, they're technically not dead with Vraska if they minus to kill one of my creatures, yeah. But that's fine, I'll just spend a turn to kill their Vraska. Or I could send it both of them for 5. And I have sleep. I guess my opponent could kill one of our creatures again and be at 1. But I don't see how they kill us at that point. I think I'm going to ignore the Vraska. I think I'm going to attack them down to 1. We're going to get a draw card here. They're at 1 life. That's a nice draw as well. Okay, yeah, this will lock things up because even if our opponent were to minus Vraska on this Merfolk Trickster, I mean, 1, I'd probably save it, but yeah, even if they then had a creature to follow to block this one, they would still lose to the sleep. And as it stands now, they're just going to lose to the board. I will go ahead and burn this on it. If my opponent has spot removal, this is much better. I mean, heck, maybe they have 2 spot removal spells in hand. All right, we got there. We did it. All right, there you go, everybody. What are we? Are we 3-0 now? Yeah, keep the prizes coming. 3-0 with Mono Blue Tempo. This is a real deck. I mean, heck, it top 8 at a Standard tournament. You saw people play it. Seth Manfield and Luis Salvato played it in the Player of the Year playoff. Even it's a real deck in Standard, and it's definitely a lot of fun. Right up my alley, as a matter of fact. All right, let's see what is up next here. Our deck's been pretty good to us, too, in terms of mulligans. Obviously, the best of ones help that. Arena helps give you, I say that, and you know what? I'm going to keep it. We're on the draw, and it's nothing but 1-drops. I'm in. Oh, look, we did it. Sort of. I say we did it. Our opponent's playing what I assume is mono red or wizards or something. I don't have any idea how these red decks work, so we're going to see. I mean, I guess the Siren Storm Tamers are going to be pretty nice, as is these. Honestly, our hand is great if we draw 1 more land, which we knew, so. All right, so they're blue-red. Oh, okay. Well, we drew our land, so that's a pretty good sign. Now I get to play 2 creatures out. I get to trade with them here, but I can also, then when I untap, I'm going to have options, right? I can opt to hold up dive down plus Wizard's Retort, which is very strong. Or I can just play the Exclusion Mage to bounce something. Probably gonna opt to hold up the counterspell and the dive down and just keep our opponent from doing anything relevant. But this is their big turn. I mean, they could just play something that does a bunch of damage here. They could deal with our creatures in some way. Playing Highland Lake, though, I don't know if that's a start. I don't know if that's the start they want to the play that gets them back in the game here. Because all right, so they've got a shock. That makes a big difference because now we're no longer racing 3 damage versus 1 damage or whatever. We're racing 2 damage against 2 damage. Does this thing have haste too? Man, that's annoying. Card's good. Well, I guess I'm just gonna pass. I would bounce it, but having haste on our 2/2 doesn't seem ideal. I guess it would give us a 2/2 to crack back with, but I still have some options here. I can still Essence Scatter or Wizard's Retort. And, you know, I guess as it stands, I mean, we're trading evenly with them. We're behind in the race, but not too terribly so. I'm just going to Essence Scatter that. Water Trap Weaver, that's another Merfolk. I like it. All right, Merfolk tricks are pretty sweet. I'll probably just let my opponent attack and then try to... It'll be an option in the end step. If we don't counter something, maybe we can just tap it down. I think I like racing is what I'm saying here. It is questionable, given that our opponent is obviously going to have burn of some manner in their deck, but with the Trickster, with the Exclusion Mage, with the counter spells, I feel like we are going to be able to turn the corner in this race. I feel like we hold all the cards in the race, if that makes sense. That's just a 3/2 flyer. Heck, this could be in our deck. Do I want to throw the Wizard's Retort at it, or do I want to let it resolve and then attack and then bounce it? Yep, that's what I want to do. Okay, so I think I'm going to let it resolve. I think I'm going to actually Merfolk Trickster for no value here. Ooh, that's tempting. All right, see, now we're back ahead in the race. Exclusion Mage this thing away. We get to untap and have either Charter Course and Wizard's Retort or Dive Down. The point is, this is what I was talking about, how we can turn the corner because we get to play at instant speed. We added a 2/2 to our board. No, I guess I'm happy to still race. Yeah, we added a 2/2 to our board. Our opponent got set back 3 mana. Well, we got to be just perfectly mana efficient. Now we're going to untap. Well, that's a pretty good one. I guess, I mean, you keep what? 1 creature from untapping? Seems medium. We're still going to get attack. We're still going to get a cast of Charter Course. It is going to be a close finish, though. You know, it's going to be tight. Hitting land is going to be the huge thing for us because I'm going to attack. I'm going to want to hit. I'm going to cast Charter Course and really want to hit a land. Oh, they do have this. Okay. All right, there's a land. That's a good sign. Now I just got to get in with the team. We'll just continue this race, I suppose. But I still feel perfectly reasonable with where we're at in the race. Yeah, my opponent's trading. That's not really a great sign for them. I could dive down just to protect this. I'm not going to. I want all my options after I draw my lands here. Or after I draw my cards here off of this. Well, that's pretty good, to be honest. Could Charter Course again. Just take a hit. But that seems dangerous. I think I'll just pass with Wizard's Retort up. So hopefully, even if my opponent decides to crack in for 5 here, depending on what they do, you know, I can get back in for 6, I suppose. I think I have to let this resolve. I think that card is not the scary one. Like I said, if we can just win on... The thing is, too, if we can just win on board, then all those merfolk tricks are getting countered. Okay, they say that would be pretty rough for us, but if we can just win the game on board, my opponent's gonna have a really hard time doing this last 11 points of damage. You know, if they come in with both here, I block 1, I take 2, I go to 9. Then they're at 8, and we have them dead in 2 turns. So that's actually quite a bit they have to think about. Not to mention, if we do get on tap again, our hand is going to be extremely good. I don't know what they could be holding. That's a pretty good one. Huh. I think I'm going to take the damage. I'll take the damage. I'll just play much more defensively now. Because we might still be able to beat letting them draw cards on their next turn with it. That's the thing. Yeah, I think I can only attack with these two. Worth keeping in mind, the Siren Storm Tamer, I don't think it works with risk factor. Oh, no, it is. It's target opponent. So we can actually use the Siren Storm Tamer to counter it. All right, so hopefully we hit a land off this chart, of course. We did. Good step. I think this is what I want to do. I think this is, maybe this wasn't correct, but I think the idea is that we take 3 damage from the Siren Reaver here. We block the Lava Runner, and then we'll see what our opponent does. Because remember, we have Dive Down. We also have Wizard's Retort. Basically, I'd really like to use my mana this turn in one way or another. Whatever that is, I would like to use my mana. Alright, we're going to get to risk factor. So we might still die here. They might have a shock or whatever. But they are down to 1 card in hand, and we are ahead on board. So this is the situation we wanted. And honestly, I feel pretty good about the game now. I get a Curious Obsession up this thing. I get to... I guess there's no reason to not just attack with these 2 at this point. Keep the Storm Tamer back just in case, even though I do plan on playing this Tempest Djinn. But having them at 3 is more or less the same as having them at 2. The Spell Pierce is nice as well. So I don't actually have to do anything. And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should keep up Dive Down and Spell Pierce. Maybe not. Spell Pierce just might not be... Well, that also keeps up the Siren Storm Tamer. But the Siren Storm Tamer is up with this in play. If the Siren Storm Tamer has to block the Reaver, then we're not really getting any value out of, you know, because then we're still on the ropes, and in fact, we might just die at that point. So being able to block the Reaver here with a different creature, meaning we get to keep the Storm Tamer and this 1 mana back to counter whatever that targets us. I think this is a good spot for us. We'll see though. All right, it counters abilities. This works. That was close, actually. That was very scary. That was the kind of card that we could have lost to, where Dive Down and Spell Pierce do nothing, but it does what they need to kill us. Do they have the shock, or do we win? I assume they would have played the Viashino Pyromancer, or whatever it's called, right? Last turn, if they had it. Oh, I just countered the ability. Yeah, it's right here. The Viashino Pyromancer. So, I think my opponent is dead. Hard to say. I mean, I'm clearly going to block here. I think they're on no outs. If this isn't shock, they're dead. Even if it's risk factor, I just let them draw 3 cards. Yeah, you have to attack. I mean, I say you have to attack me. Yeah, there you go. Say it doesn't really matter what you do. I'm clearly going to block. Well, that was a really tight game, everybody, but Hey, we're 4 wins with this deck right now. That is truly awesome. Better than expected. You know what? I will take a reward. Oh, what was my reward card? What was my reward card? Oh, come on. I want to know. Man. All right, whatever. Hey, we're 4-0 with this deck. Let's do it again. Let's have another try here. I wanted to know what my reward card was. I think I misclicked. Unlucky, really. These videos have been a lot of fun to do so far. I've been enjoying them. And I know that we've run... Last week, we ran 3-3, which is great. This week, we're running well. We're 4-0. We'll see where we end up. We may lose the next 3, but hey, above average either way. But honestly, what I'm finding out is it's not that hard to build competitive budget decks, at least in this particular standard, for MTG Arena. It's been sweet. All right, let's see what we're looking at this time around. I just love how all these hands are good. Turns out when you fill your deck with lands, 1 and 2 drop spells, you could have a lot of opening hands that look playable. Our opponent did not, however. They mulliganed. We get to go first. Wow, and our hand... Basically, if our hand draws 1 land, I think that we have a hand that can beat any deck in the format. That's not a land, but you know what? It is pretty good. We're just going to get to free divination for 2 mana here. There's the land. Yeah, that was just absolutely huge. Now we get to play our third. Like I said, we had a hand that could beat any deck in the format, including that one, I guess. We're at 5 wins. What a play. What a deck. This is sweet. Having fun. I'll take winning games in 30 seconds. That said, like I said, our hand was insane. We had the Siren Storm Tamer. We were going to untap. Maybe I just play the Tempest Djinn, but maybe I decide to get cheeky because I hit a 4th land or whatever. I just do something else, and then I get to play Tempest Djinn and protect it for the entire rest of the game. There's just no way we're going to lose at that point, right? We had the Siren Storm Tamer as well. As long as we found a 4th land, I think that game was pretty much in the bag. But now we got 2 more. If we're going to get there, now it's on the table, right? We're 5-0. Is 7 wins a possibility? Would be very exciting. All right, let's see what we got this time around. Well, we're thinking about it anyways. I guess it's my... Okay, so there we go. What do you know? Another insane hand. Snap, keep. Attack for 1, draw 2, bounce your thing, play this with protection. That's how I'd like to see this game go. We are on the draw. That makes our hand worse. Hand would be very good on the play. As it stands, it's just... pretty good? Really good? It's pretty good. Alright, so if this gets shocked, our game plan gets a lot worse, but honestly, at that point, I might just chart a course on turn 2 anyways, and just discard a land if we don't have anything better to do. I might not. I might save it. Alright, assume our opponent doesn't have shock. They would have played it. They do have a Runaway Steamkin, and I won't lie, that card's actually terrifying. We actually hit a 2-drop here, though, and it's a good one. Warkite Marauder, very nice in this circumstance. I guess we can use it on the Runaway Steamkin, not that that's huge. What I'm hoping is that my opponent does something this turn that leaves his Steamkin with either 1 or 2 counters on it, and then we get value out of bouncing it, and we get to continue to hit them. Unfortunately, getting shocked is exactly what we did not want to happen. Oh my gosh, and a Lightning Strike, huh? Okay, well... On the one hand, it's bad, just like that, we're out of creatures, and we got hit for 3. On the other hand, at least we have the Exclusion Mage to bounce the Steamkin. So not only are we bouncing the Steamkin and we're going to tax them 2 mana and replaying it, but those 2 spells that they cast, I mean, they weren't wasted. They got rid of our creatures, but the counters on the Steamkin at least are not a thing. So now, let's see what they do here. Phoenix, huh? We got a game here, everybody. Well, I got nothing to do but play a 4-4 rather of my own, so a little good news, bad news here. The bad news is our opponent is playing good cards. This one is a mythic. We have none of those in our deck. Rekindling Phoenix also just very, very good against Tempest Djinn. That said, they're going to attack with it, which is it feels a little greedy to me. I'm going to play land. I'm going to crack back for 5 in the air. Hopefully find something with the Charter Course to deal with the Rekindling Phoenix. I mean, that's a nice part, I guess, about Rekindling Phoenix specifically as a card we have to play against. Is a whole bunch of our deck is good against it. But let's see what we hit. Yeah, Wizard's Retort, not a bad one. I think I'm going to keep this thing back to block. All right, let's see if this Charter Course is good to us here. This is a big turn. This is a big Charter Course. Well, that was pretty good. I play the Mist-Cloaked Herald. I can play another Charter Course if I want. I do have a Wizard, so I'm going to go for the Mist-Cloaked Herald and keeping open the Wizard's Retort here. It is also worth mentioning that if we lose our Exclusion Mage now... Oh, what is this? You want to kill our Exclusion Mage? It's going to trade with your... But it's like not even going to? Do I care about this? That spells, I mean, that's going to resolve. I guess the thing is we are just taking a lot of damage. We're kind of not even winning the race, so maybe I just have to counter it on that grounds. So that I can then go for a double block on the Steamkin if my opponent whiffs. That might be our only way to win here. I think that's better. I think that's better. The alternative is letting this happen, using our Mist-Cloak to block the Pyromancer, but then just taking 1,000 damage on the ground. So we'll go ahead and counter the Wizard's Lightning with the Wizard's Retort. How how fitting, I suppose. All right, so my hope here is that my opponent, wow, draws something that isn't that good. That was insane. It was an extraordinarily good draw. Yeah, they get to take that out, and now we're just forced to take 8 here. That was ooh, that was not the draw we wanted them to find. Curious Obsession, huh? All I have to do is find a ground blocker to not die. So I'm going to give that a shot. We get to see a lot of cards here. Oh, my opponent actually kept this back, huh? I see. I'll crash in there. That's fine. I mean, we keep our Curious Obsession. This thing does nothing. I get the free with the raid here, so I don't have to discard. Okay, well then. Well, that might kill us. It casts haste. Well, we're dead if our opponent sees it, or rather, if they choose to go for it. They have 8, and we whiffed hard. I mean, I knew I was playing risky there, but I think I needed to just draw as many cards as possible. And if we can just find something to block this on the ground here, then we take damage from the Phoenix, go to 3, but we get a hit back for 1 billion, continue to draw cards, and just try to tempo, try to mono blue tempo their hand out, whether with Merfolk Tricksters or bounce spells or what have you. But yeah, we got taken down there. If I play defensively there, I guess it's okay. I mean, I can block the Phoenix forever. I'm still getting hit by the Runaway Steamkin. Or I trade with the Steamkin and then the Phoenix is wrecking us. I think being aggressive there was better. I think we saw more cards by being aggressive and had the board state in a fairly similar position, at least for that turn. Because we could have taken one. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. We could have taken one more hit. But we didn't get there. Well, guess I'm keeping this hand. Oh, we're on the draw? I thought we were on the play. Should have actually read a little better. This might work out, though. Well, that's a nice one, too. So I get to play Storm Tamer on 1. I get to have Wizard's Retort on 2. And then on 3, I can play another Storm Tamer and have another Retort. And hopefully our opponent just, plays dirtly creatures like this at first. And then plays some big ones that we can counterspell. Well, I guess I'm getting my wish there. I guess the only problem is how much damage we're going to take. I should have attacked there because I think I'm taking this hit. Yeah, that was a mistake. It was bad. I mean, I missed a point of damage. I was thinking the thing is I wanted to block the Branch Walker, but I need this for the Wizard's Retort. So by playing in their second main phase, they're actually punishing me kind of hard there. Now it's fine. I have the second one. This is... Okay, I'm going to play the wizard. That's what we're going to do. Alright, going to attack with the wizard. So I've missed out on 1 point of damage. Now I still have this other... I have this Storm Tamer with Summoning Sickness to block the Branch Walker here. I still get to have a discounted counter spell. And then, heck, next turn I get to play another 1/1. Another counter spell. But we're going to need to break serve on these 1/1s. We're going to need something a little more powerful than that. Chupacabra, not a chance. Not a chance that you get a Chupacabra. Oh my gosh. Well, that is exactly the draw I wanted. Picture perfect. We get in for 2. We get a draw card. Yeah. Our opponent's actually in a little bit of trouble now because they have now 2 cards in hand. We know they have that swamp. So they have 2 unknowns. We have a counterspell to protect this. So they're going to need back-to-back removal spells to actually get this off the board here. And if not, it's just going to crush them. It's just going to drown them in card advantage, in theory. You know, they're playing black-green, so they have very, very, powerful cards, like Ravenous Chupacabra, for instance, that do demand an answer. So they can turn the board around fairly quickly, but if we get a hit with the Storm Tamer again, that's a big game. My opponent's thinking it through here. It's also possible they do something that doesn't need to be Wizard's Retorted, and that would sure be nice, right? Alright, they play the land we know about, so they actually have access to 7 mana here. What are they thinking about? They have a Carnage Tyrant or something I have to counter? I think I'd probably prefer them to do something like that. They want back a Branch Walker and a Chupacabra, huh? They've already played a land, which means they're only playing the Chups here. Which means they're going to get a Branch Walker out of this deal. Or I counter it. They get nothing out of it. Yeah, I'm just going to counter it. I don't think they would have played Find there if their other card was good. I could be wrong, clearly. But I think that, because Finality is also very good against me. So I think that by playing Find there, it means they have nothing else because they were they have a Land of War Elves, right? They were keeping their mana open to be able to cast something they got off of that. And we are obviously just extremely good at the game and actually missed on my draw step, but got there on the Curious Obsession draw step. Got a Tempest Djinn, and Vivian Reed is exactly what my opponent needed to be in the game. I honestly, or creature with flying, so they can actually. Oh no! Oh no! Our Siren Storm Tamer! Oh no! That's unfortunate. That was a pretty good one for them. The game's not over. Oh, we're gonna draw really badly. Alright, make sure we attack the Vivian here. I guess I'm just blocking. I don't know, there's 20 lands in our deck. We've drawn 7 of them. Our opponent top decking Vivian and us top decking land was pretty rough. Wow. Okay, we got a game. Our opponent has drawn very well. Man, I can't even block. Because now Curious Obsession does nothing for us. I was fine trading it off when I had a Tempest Djinn. It's not going to matter. We're not going to play anyways. All right. I guess it wasn't meant to be. It was close. It was very close, but they finally whiffed. And all right, we did not. That's something. All right, hopefully this Merfolk Trickster gets to ambush something. All right, we'll block 1. Take 2, go to 5. Well, we've got a creature in play now. Wild Growth Walker, huh? All right. All right, thank you. We found a Tempest Djinn. Thank you, game. That is how we can actually win this thing. As a matter of fact, I can put it up to 8, so I'm not going to have lethal no matter what I do, but man, it's close. I guess if I've missed, think about it, I've missed, I think 2 points, well, 1. I think I for sure missed 1 point of damage this game. And now my opponent's just going to gain a bunch of life. So it's going to get kind of ugly. Oh, these draw steps have been so painful. That said, our opponent is still in trouble. If they just hit a land or whatever, they're still just dead. Because this is just going to kill them. Even if they gain 3 life by exploring again, they're just going to die. And the fact they're doing this means they are probably, in fact, dead. I don't think this deck plays anything I lose to. And I don't think I can win if they kill my Tempest Djinn. So I don't think how we block here particularly matters, besides just blocking. But I will minimize the damage I take. Good game, they say. All right, is this a removal spell for Tempest Djinn? It's not! We did it! Wow, Tempest Djinn. Just who knew that 8/4 flyers for 3 were good, right? And now we're on the verge. Oh, I get a reward card again. Hey, it's a switcheroo. That's cool. All right, this is the big one, everybody. 6 wins. I've already earned 800 gold. I think it cost me 500 to enter. So we're already up. But we get 1,000 gold. At least 2 rares and an uncommon if we win this one. So here we go, everybody. This will be so exciting. You know, I wondered if I would ever get 7 wins in this series. This is pretty much the deck to do it with, I guess. So it would be pretty nice if that's what we're able to make happen. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we're on the play. We get a crazy good hand. 3 lands, Siren Storm Tamer, Charter Course, Dive Down, Tempest Djinn. I would take that hand. Is that what you're going to serve up to me? Come on, Arena. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. We're on the play. We have the Mist-Cloaked Herald into the Warkite Marauder, into the Tempest Djinn, and then we're going to have a counterspell. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Our opponent needs removal. They need a lot of removal. Although they're playing red, there you go. Step 1. Shock the Mist-Cloaked Herald. Well, that's fine. Here comes a more Warkite Marauder. And the Curious Obsession is very good, too. Obviously, I probably will just slam the Tempest Djinn next turn anyways. It doesn't matter. We're getting shocked. Oh, my opponent doesn't have a second land. You know what? I don't know if this is how I wanted to get there, but if they miss on this turn and I get to throw Curious Obsession, oh yeah, they're in trouble now. Yeah, now this thing might just be, that just might be it. I mean, our opponent has no land. We get to attack for 5. We get to pass with Wizard's Retort up. We get to draw a card. This game's just over. We were probably actually gonna do it here. Yeah, it looks like it's free to play this thing too. Pass the turn. I got Wizard's Retort up. I've got Siren Storm Tamer to protect the Tempest Djinn if I really need to, but I think there's probably just a scoop face coming in. I mean, hey, sometimes you get lucky and that's okay. Opponent put a can't see what they put a risk factor into their graveyard here. Another Tempest Djinn, you say? Warkite Marauder it is. That's lethal next turn if we hit a wave. Now we did it! 7 wins, everybody! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy! What a sweet deck. We did it. We got 7 wins with mono blue tempo. Hey, you give me a Merfolk deck, I guess I can do all right sometimes. See what we got. 1,000 gold. This looks like, oh, this is a mythic rare. You see this red hint around it? All right, we're going to work our way up. We got a Book Devourer. I have a billion of those from last picking in Guilds of Ravnica draft. All right, the rare. Detection Tower. It says played card in standard, but here we go. This is the big one. This is the mythic. Well, what can I say? It's not the mythic I wanted to open. But you know what? It's a Merfolk. That's right. That's a Merfolk on there. Target player draws 7 cards for 7 mana. Merfolk all the way. There you go, everybody. I'm Corbin Hostler. This was 12 rare runs, and that was our first ever 7-win run. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.